Good morning, Miami. It's Sunday, June 28th, and the Gulf is on edge as Iranian strikes ripple toward another war. Here's your full local rundown. What's happening across South Florida and the wider world beyond it. Iran launched drone and missile attacks on Bahrain and Kuwait today and threatened to halt its negotiations with the United States entirely, NPR reports, as the conflict drew in the wider Gulf. Both nations host American military facilities. So the strikes mark a sharp widening of a confrontation that had centered on Israel and Iran. In parallel, fighting between Israel and Hezbollah intensified, opening a second front to the north. The stakes are enormous. Shipping through the Strait of Hormuz is now at risk, and a broader regional war is suddenly plausible. What Tehran decides next at the negotiating table will determine whether this spirals further. 3 firefighters were killed and 2 others injured, battling the Knolls and Gore fires near the Colorado-Utah border, the U.S. Wildland Fire Service said. The crew was part of an interagency response to blazes spreading across the arid Southwest. Their bodies were flown by helicopter to a Colorado airport, where colleagues drove them to the coroner's office, the New York Times reported. The fires are tearing through a region left unusually dry by a warm winter, and the danger is far from over. A punishing heat wave is forecast to bake much of the country this week, raising the risk of new ignitions. Now let's talk about what's happening around town this week. Sunday is shaping up to be the day to get out. Early risers can roll out a mat for $5 yoga at 9:30 at Vizcaya Village, then linger for the farmers market right there under summer hours. If you'd rather get on the water, dragon boat paddling launches from the Miami Yacht Club at noon, a full-body team workout on Biscayne Bay. Over in Wynwood, the Balloon Museum's inflatable art show opens late morning at Mana, and Lincoln Road's farmers market runs all afternoon, something for everyone. Closer to home, an American Airlines flight bound for Bermuda aborted its takeoff at Miami International Airport on Saturday evening after a business jet entered the same runway, according to WPLG. The runway incursion forced the airliner's crew to slam the brakes mid-roll. No one was hurt. These incidents, known as incursions, are among the most serious safety events in aviation, and federal authorities typically investigate to determine how a second aircraft ended up on an active runway. For now, the key question is what put that jet in the path of a departing airliner. The World Cup turned Miami into a stage this weekend. Colombia finished the opening round as Group K winner after a scoreless draw with Portugal on Saturday night at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, the Associated Press reported, with both squads advancing to the knockout round. It was Colombia's return to the venue nearly 2 years after a chaotic scene at the 2024 Copa America final. Today, fans lined up at downtown's Freedom Tower to glimpse the original World Cup trophy on display, while Argentina supporters packed a Miami Beach watch party to cheer Lionel Messi's 6th goal of the tournament in a 3-1 win over Jordan. A heartbreaking story out of Miami-Dade. A 5-year-old boy died after being struck by a vehicle, the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office said. Authorities did not immediately release further details about how the crash unfolded or where it happened. Investigators will be working to piece together the circumstances in the hours ahead, and will bring you more as the Sheriff's Office confirms it. The Supreme Court ruled in Mullen v. Doe that the Trump administration may terminate temporary protected status for Haitian and Syrian refugees, clearing officials to begin unwinding deportation protections held by tens of thousands of people. It's one of the White House's clearest immigration wins yet at the High Court. The decision drew immediate defiance in New York, where Mayor Zoran Mamdani pledged to block its enforcement in the city. Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania warned that stance risked provoking a constitutional crisis. The clash between a Democratic mayor and a Supreme Court majority is likely to define the political weeks ahead. Across Europe, a brutal heat wave has now been linked to about 1,300 deaths, the World Health Organization said, as Germany recorded a national high of 41.7 degrees Celsius. The organization's Director General, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, warned that the continent remains unprepared for sustained extreme heat. The toll spans several countries, and health authorities are urging precautions for the elderly and others most exposed. Officials caution that the number could climb as data from the hottest days is still being gathered, a grim preview of a warming world's new normal. In trade news, President Donald Trump said he would, quote, rather not have the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, raising the prospect that Washington won't renew the Continental Pact when it comes up for a scheduled review on July 1st. The deal, which replaced NAFTA during Trump's first term, governs roughly $1.5 trillion in annual cross-border commerce. Analysts cited by Al Jazeera said letting it lapse would leave manufacturers and exporters in all three countries without a settled tariff framework. Trump didn't say whether he'd renegotiate or simply allow it to wind down toward its 2036 sunset. An American effort to choke off oil shipments to Cuba is deepening the island's energy collapse, leaving homes dark for hours and forcing schools and businesses to scale back, the BBC reports. Cuba's aging power plants run largely on imported crude, and U.S. sanctions on tankers, shippers, and middlemen have made deliveries scarcer and pricier. The result, the broadcaster said, is rolling blackouts that have become a daily fact of life. Havana is hunting for alternative suppliers, including a proposed restart of oil from Mexico. The shortages stem from the cumulative weight of U.S. measures, and authorities haven't said how long they'll last. To Formula One, where George Russell won the Austrian Grand Prix today, holding off a late charge from Max Verstappen to claim his first victory since the season opener and his second of the campaign. The win ended a 112-day drought and breathed new life into his world championship bid. Russell, who had qualified on pole, withstood sustained pressure from Verstappen over the closing laps to take the result at the Red Bull Ring. The Briton said afterward that the victory had restored real momentum to his title fight. And finally, a bright idea from Oakland, California. A restaurant called Homeroom has built a tiered alert system that lets servers report harassment from customers without confronting them directly. Staff rate troubling behavior as yellow for creepy, orange for more serious, and red for conduct that means removing a customer, with managers stepping in at each level. Chef Erin Wade devised the approach back in 2015, after learning that most of her staff had faced harassment on the job. The graduated scale gives workers a low-friction way to summon help, and gives managers a clear basis for acting. That's your Miami brief for Sunday, June 28th. Thanks for spending part of your morning with us. If you'd like your own personalized daily rundown like this one, visit the address on your screen or the link below. Until tomorrow, Miami, take care.